I just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody for all the support on these videos and to remind everybody what we're doing this for. It's the 22 states to help raise awareness for the 22 veterans that are taking their life every day. Just let that sink in for a minute. Sometimes I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, I don't really care if I'm not riding the right bike or taking the right route or wearing the right clothes or have the right sleeping bag. What's important is that I'm out here trying to raise awareness for our veterans. They went to some pretty horrible places and saw some pretty horrible things. And I'm just hoping that somehow by doing these rides, I can help shed a little bit of light on the problem. And if you know any veterans, check in on them, and maybe it's something simple like just hanging out for a little bit, or maybe you guys go jump on a bike and go for a ride once a week or something like that. Just some kind of connection. I know for me, every time I had a really bad day, if I got on the bike and went for a ride, I always felt better. So maybe it's just that simple. It's not going to fix everything, but it's a start, right? And I just wanted to remember why we're doing this, so I'm going to save this clip and probably put it on the rest of the videos from here on. So if you're curious what we're doing this for, this is what it is. It's not just me out riding aimlessly off into the sunset. For me, there's a reason, and I hope you guys get that. Some of you do. Thanks, I do appreciate it. Okay, on with the show. All right, good morning, world. It's Wednesday, the 13th of April, 2022. Hey, I climbed up on top of this little hill here because that's where the sun is. I'm freezing my butt off. It's been in the 20s overnight. It is cold. Space blanket, I think I own about 10 of them. I don't think I have any with me. Rain poncho. I packed it twice and I don't remember if it's still in there or if I took it out. The problem is everything I really needed to do to survive cold weather was bulky and heavy. This has been the hardest part of planning this trip, really, was most of the trip is going to be in warm weather and hot weather. So I just had to survive the first month. My sleeping bag is rated for 50 and we're in the 20s. So I have to make some different choices next year. Although, what I'm really thinking next year, if I do this again, probably will. I think the plan for next year is to leave later. But yeah, once we get into May, we'll be fine. Let's see that tree there. Kind of see the sleeping bag in the shadow. It's not quite in the sun yet. And then the bike is right there. You can see a little bit of the red flashlight sticking up. Otherwise, yeah, it's looking like a beautiful day. Forecast is 20-mile-an-hour headwinds again today. That was one of the considerations yesterday when I was in the campsite. It's only $5 a night. I could have registered for another day or two, but it would have been cold there too. I didn't really have any good shelter there. I could have moved around a little bit. It looked like there was maybe better shelter in some of the spots, but it would have been as cold there as it is here. And I'm like, well, what do you do? Sit still and burn another day, or do you keep pushing forward and try to get closer to better weather or whatever? Looking forward to warm weather though. Okay, it's 9 o'clock straight up. I was hoping to be out of here a little faster, but honestly, it was cold enough I was having a hard time getting my fingers to work. So basically, I just put the backpack on and go. Yeah, at the moment, no wind at all. So I'm going to ride as fast as I possibly can for the next 2 hours, even if I just burn the battery down, and cover as much as I can, because if I can cover 12 miles an hour instead of 8, it all adds up. And then maybe take a lunch break by then, let the bike recharge, and then try it again. Just keeps going and going. Also, it's still cold. I think after the wind I've been pushing through, I deserve something, so why not, right? I don't know why anybody would want to sit inside on a day like today, aside from the wind. The fries are still warm, I'm going to eat them fast. It's going better than yesterday. The battery is taking a real beating, but it is definitely windy. Okay, we're back in Arizona on Highway 389 this time. We just dropped south a couple miles. If I read the GPS right, the elevation was less extreme on this road. And we'll follow this for about a day, most of tomorrow, I think. And then when we get closer to St. George, we'll come back up into Utah again. All right, 4 o'clock. That must mean quitting time, right? Mile marker 29, apparently, just over yonder. So I was kind of experimenting today, pushing the batteries a little harder than I have been, and it seemed like it was working. Trying to be careful and at the same time trying to make some miles. So I think I made a lot more miles today than I did yesterday. It's warmer than it has been. I think it's still going to get pretty cold tonight, but then I looked at 10-day forecasts for Las Vegas and St. George, and lows in the nights are down into the 40s instead of in the 20s, so that's a whole lot better. And that's kind of been the point, for me. I've been looking, and it didn't make sense to me to go full-on winter mode, because I only expected a few really cold days. I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, well, there's a couple different ways we could do a compromise. One would be to leave later, then I wouldn't need the winter clothes. And I've got one of the backpacks is mostly cold weather stuff. Okay. I could spend this coming winter fine-tuning the system I have, because it basically works. I got some problems, but it's basically working. When I'm rolling, it's pretty comfortable. So maybe I could just work on that. I mean, I've got the trailer already for a prototype. Now I know it works. If I went back and rebuilt it out of aluminum or something lighter, and then fine-tuned what I took with me, I guess what I was just kind of thinking is a lot of the things that I have basically work. So if I can focus the next winter on fixing the things that I want to fix and not start over again, maybe that would be easier. I mean, maybe, maybe just get a better mountain bike or something that I can afford, $300 or $400. And fine-tune my system. If I made everything just a little bit lighter, and if I kept riding so I got a little bit stronger, and I improved my solar and my batteries, and maybe upgraded the motor for regen, now that I know more of what is important, I could probably fine-tune that system a little easier. That's, if you can't do it in 6 hours, you're probably not doing it right, I guess. All right, that's it for now.